As you may be able to tell, I have a bit of a problem. Quite a large problem, actually, because it's taking over my closet in my office, and I need to do something about it. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. For the rest of the night, it's currently like 2 o'clock. For the rest of the night, I'm gonna work through all of these scraps and turn them into corner bookmarks. Y'all have seen me make corner bookmarks before, but I'm gonna do them a little bit different. This is how they're gonna turn out at the end. So I'm gonna use pinking shears on the edges of them so that they don't fray, and then I'm also not flipping them inside out, so that just reduces like the bulk of them and it just makes them look a lot cleaner. Obviously this one has a lot of like threads that still need to be cut, but ignore those, they'll look a lot better than this one. But this is the size, this is like the general design that we're going for all of these. So these are just it's like 1/3 of the whole bookmark. So these are all the little quilted pieces that I have. And these are scraps from tote bags. I save every single scrap. And these are little squares that I cut out so that I can make the depth of the tote bag. So I always save them. And today is the day where they're gonna get used up. I also have all of the liners that I cut from the liners of the bags. And so really all that I'm gonna do here is like pick out a quilted piece, pick out 2 liners since we need one for this little triangle and then we need one for the back. So I'll pick out 2 liners and just kind of like mix and match, have some fun, mix it up a little bit, and make every single one a little bit different, or at least try to. While I was digging through that bin, I also found some like actual artifacts from Xoxo Charley. Up first is the very first wristlet that I ever made. This thing is crazy. Like, this is just sad. But it was my very first one. This was like my first experiment with wristlets. And I'm glad that I, figured it out because this one is really rough. And then I also have one where I was experimenting with the label. I was gonna make these really tiny labels. Sorry, you probably can't even see, but I was gonna make these really tiny labels and sew them on there. I think this one, yeah, this one is sewn on there. I'm also glad that I didn't do that. So this was fun. This was like a little treasure hunt. I got to dig through all my scraps from the last 2 years? Probably a year. Because I've done this before, but I made them all into tote bags. And then I also found some scraps from one of my very first ever limited edition collections, which you guys probably don't know of because I didn't have YouTube at the time. But I have done limited edition collections before on Xoxo Charley. You just have to go way, way back on my social media. It was called Pretty in Pink, I think. And this is just one of the fabrics that was part of it. And I had like, kind of like what I do now. I did like 8 tote bags or something like that. So I'll definitely have to use those up. I also have like some old fabric that I don't even have anymore. So that'll be fun to like mix and match with the current liner fabrics that I have. But yeah, it's just gonna be really chill. I'm just gonna be, first off, sewing the little triangles because the triangles are sewn first in half in order to make that triangle shape. So I'm gonna have to sew those first, and then I'll kind of stack them up how I want them to be sewn in order, if that makes sense. But I'm excited. Finally, not only getting rid of these scraps, but this is a different project that I've never done before. And I'm also curious to hear your guys' input. Do you want these on the website? Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep them as like a little dig bin for my markets. I just don't know how I would sell them. Like, only a colorful picnic one listed, or is it gonna be like you get a random one, or you can request one but they're usually random? I don't know. I haven't quite decided all that. And then I also have outer fabrics from the quilts that I've done before, so I have all of those to work with too. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna go ahead and just get started. I'm gonna start sewing up those triangles, and I literally just keep on sewing. What is that called? It's like chain stitching. I'm gonna chain stitch all of them, and it's almost gonna look like a little ribbon banner, and I'll do that very first. Now for one of the most fun parts. So I got all of our little triangles sewn and cut out here. I've got 3 different piles, and all I did was split my liner pieces in half, and I sewed half of them into triangles, and I'm gonna keep half as liners since we need 2 sides. And now the fun part is being able to mix and match all the liners with the outer fabrics. So a little while ago I started on this and I just didn't finish it, but I already have a stack going, and the stack goes the quilted piece, the liner piece, and then the triangle, and then I'll be able to sew in that order and not even think about, you know, which ones I'm putting together. So I'm just gonna make little stacks like that and set them over here and just slowly work my way through. Then at the end of that, I'll also be able to see if I need to cut more liners, which I think I'm gonna have to. So we'll be able to see all that, but I'm gonna go ahead and get to pairing all of these different fabrics together. Now this is gonna be a whole lot of bookmarks, but the funny part is this is probably not even half of the quilted pieces that we have. So once I'm done with this batch, I'll probably have to cut out some more, well, I'll definitely have to cut out some more liners because we only have white, the colorful picnic liner, and the ditzy picnic pink liner. And that's it for our little triangles and for our regular liners. So I'll definitely have to cut out some more of those, which is fine because I have tons of scraps of liners anyways, so we can cut out of those. So I'm just gonna set these extra triangles aside, and same with the liners, and first sew through all these and just see how many I can get done. I've now completed a majority of our bookmarks that we're making. These are all that we have left, so we just have a lot of colorful picnic, which we can always work on some more. We have just a little bit of the ditzy picnic pink, and then these are all just 3-inch, I believe, or like 2.5-inch little squares from the pink and yellow, which aren't the size that I'm doing. Then we just have a couple quilted left and 2 of these white. But all of them are now done. I've got them all stacked up here. Now it's time to cut them. And I've got a brand new rotary blade for this. I used to use these little pinking shears that looked like this. They just are so, these are by Fiskars, and they're not bad. It's just to do it a lot quicker and a lot easier. I'm gonna use this rotary cutter by Olfa. I got a pinking rotary blade. So we're gonna put this on this rotary blade, and I'll be sure to have this linked in my Amazon storefront. But I'm hoping that this works a lot easier than the scissors because the scissors hurt my hands so bad after a while. So let's put this together. Honestly, this would be nice to have a new blade anyways. Okay, so now I need to figure out how to change this. Maybe there's instructions on here. Okay, so you just pull it down. Oh, there we go. Oh, that was easy. And this will also make it easier to go like multiple at a time. Otherwise with the scissors, I can only do one at a time. All right, I'm just gonna store that in there for now. All right, hopefully this works. Oh my gosh, I cannot get it back on. There we go. Okay, that was not safe at all, but that worked. It just hurts my thumb. Okay, there we go. We got our brand new pinking blade all ready to go on our rotary cutter. So let's try this out. This is also a 45mm, which I usually use a 60, so this is gonna be a little bit different. And the handle is different, just everything is different about it. So this might be a bit of a learning curve. Let's just experiment first. Let's try one out. Let's see how it goes. Oh, maybe I shouldn't cut it right there. Wow, okay. And I like the pattern. The pattern is really nice. It's not too small of like, okay, this is gonna be the issue here. So this I didn't cut all the way through. So now I'm gonna have to like perfectly line up. Yeah, see, this is gonna be an issue if it doesn't cut all the way through. Then I'm kind of stuck like making my own waves with scissors to cut off that last portion. Since we're going through technically like 4 layers of fabric, let me try it again. Okay, so if I'm like standing up and putting a lot of pressure on it, it's not bad. Definitely a lot easier than the scissors. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through and make sure that all of them are pinked on the edges. I really don't know if that's, is it called, like, is this pinked? Or is it like, I don't know. But I think they're so cute. I almost think that they look like little stamps, and part of me loves it even more because they look like that. But this is how they're all gonna turn out. Just super cute. And pinking them on the edges is gonna prevent them from fraying, so they'll stay nice and sturdy for whoever is using them. So we're gonna go through and pink all the edges of these, and then we'll be on to our final step, which I am so excited for. It's like pretty much what has gotten me all the way through sewing all of these, and now what is gonna get me through cutting all of them too. All right, I'm taking a little bit of a break from cutting because my finger hurts so bad. I don't know what it is about this cutter, but it just hurts my finger from cutting after a while. So I'm gonna take a little bit of a break and just let my hand chill out for a second, but we've got almost halfway, a little bit under half done cutting out these little bitty squares. And so I decided I'm gonna go ahead and make my labels for the little bundles that I'm gonna make at market. My plan here is to make a bundle of 3 bookmarks that are all different. And then I'm also gonna do some bundles that may end up on my website of like 3 exact same bookmarks. And those on my website will probably only be the Ditzy Picnic Pink and the Colorful Picnic, because all the other ones are just really variable. Like each one is a little bit different. So my plan here is to take some twine, which I actually got some the other day. So I got some really light twine. So we're gonna wrap it around like all 4 sides. And I'm gonna add one of these little labels. So I just designed these on Canva really quick, and I just put Xoxo Charley fabric corner bookmarks, and I'm gonna add a little hole to these using my hole puncher, and I'll thread it into the twine before I tie it as a bow, just so that people know the brand, they know what they are. And I probably should have put the price. I didn't even think about that. I guess I could just write it on the back, because prices I'm still not sure. I have to figure all those out and just like calculate what I want those to be. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cut out one of these and make a little bundle and see how it turns out. So let's first pick out 3 bookmarks. Okay, here we go. These are gonna be our 3 bookmarks that we're gonna put in there, and then here's the back side of them. They all actually go really well together. So that's kind of what I'm going for these bundles, is some that go really well together. And even if you got them as like a little stocking stuffer, you could gift all 3 of them together and they'd be really cute. So now I'm gonna take our twine. Let's see if this works. I really hope it does. All right, I don't know how much to cut off here, but I'm gonna do a lot just so that we don't run out, because I wanna do all 4 sides. So I'm first just gonna find our center and then go down. Actually, maybe, yes, I think I want this one on top. So we're gonna go down and then I'm gonna twist it at the bottom. It's just like wrapping a gift, honestly. You're gonna twist it around. So you have kind of like a little plus sign at the bottom. Then I'm gonna go back to the top. Okay, yeah, I definitely cut way too much, but that's okay. Now I'm gonna tie this once. And then this is the part where I'm gonna add our little corner or our label. And this is gonna be kind of a test within itself, because I don't know where I really want the hole to be, because my hole puncher is kind of big, but initially I thought on the side would be cute, so we're gonna try that. So I'm just gonna cut one of these out, and yeah, see, I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm gonna cut off that extra, because I feel like the hole puncher is way too big. Yeah, is there any way to change the size of this thing? It says 1/4 of an inch. Okay, well, in theory, should be good. Oh my goodness. Okay. It is way too big. I mean, that is just not gonna work. It's not even held up on the end, so we gotta try something else. Maybe we could try it at the corner. Like, I've got a plan here. Let me try this. Thinking if we do it in this corner, it'll be better. There we go. It's definitely not my favorite. I think it's still a little bit too big, but I don't really have another option, so we're gonna go with this. And I'm just gonna thread it right onto this thread here and all the way down into that knot. Then I'm just gonna make a bow. It's pretty easy. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. And then just cut the ends. And there you are, you got a little fabric corner bookmark bundle. And it's just a little pack of 3. It's nice and tied all the way at the bottom and the top so that they won't come loose, and just that little label tells you what it is. All right, enough fun and enough experimenting. Let's get back to cutting all these little bookmarks. I can't believe how good it turned out. I'm so excited. Like, could you imagine a little dig bin of all of these at market? And you can just like sort through them and look through. Okay, I need to keep on cutting. And now this is how many different ones I made. And in total, there's 291 individual corner bookmarks here. And I also did our little bundles. So here's how they look all tied up. It just says XOXO Charley fabric corner bookmarks. And you can just like flip through, see every single one. And I tried to stack them like the exact same so you could see all the different triangles on them. But how incredibly adorable is that? I think they're gonna be so cute at market. So my plan is to put all of these in the same bucket as the bundles, or maybe I'll like put those in a separate bucket. I'm not sure, I haven't decided yet, but in total, 291, that's insane. Just out of my scraps, what I've been having laying around for the last year, 2 years. I'll definitely have to do this more and just like keep up with it so that I don't have so many to do at once, because it definitely took a long time. But I love the little bitty scalloped edges, and I can be sure to do this for future like collections coming up so that I don't have to do so many scrap totes, and then more people can get products from the quilt or the collection. But I hope you guys enjoyed this process of making all these corner bookmarks. This was a new thing for me. I've never done these before besides the couple that I've experimented with, but this was a whole new design, and I'm just so glad that it turned out good. My hand still hurts a little bit, but lesson learned, I did just wear a glove for the rest, like the last half of cutting them, so that really helped, but definitely a lot easier than the scissors. I think a rotary blade is the way to go. But once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all in my next one. Mwah. Bye.